Hey everyone, thanks for joining us again for another episode of the Church Communications Podcast. I'm your host, Daryl Girardier, and with me as always is Katie Allred. Today's episode is brought to you by the Church Marketing Summit. I want you to imagine for a second, over 35 social media marketing experts in the church world coming together from one single event. And in that event, they're going to share with you a lot of things that they've learned along the way. These are people like Brady Shear, the one and only Katie Allred, who's co-hosting this podcast right now, Carrie Newhoff, Jared Wilson, Neil Smith, Stephen Brewster. I think I saw Jason Caston's on there, Steve Fogg's on there. Folks, it's a huge, massive lineup, 35 plus people. Now, here's the thing. When normally we do an event like that, you have to pay some cash. Here's the crazy thing about this event. It's completely 100% free. If you want a ticket, you can grab a ticket now and watch the event for free. We'll put the link for the event in the show notes. It's the Church Marketing Summit. Again, I think this is a really good deal. Honestly, free is always a good deal. These 35 people are 35 people, most of which I've known, Katie knows, and we've spent time hanging out with, and we can tell you they're legit. They know what they're doing, i.e. like Katie. And we think it's going to be worth your time. So check it out. Get a free ticket. It's the Church Marketing Summit. We'll put the link in the show notes, and we want to again thank them for sponsoring this episode. Katie, how are you doing?
I'm great. How are you doing?
Well, I would pan around the room right now for those of you watching on video, and you would see literally nothing but destruction upstairs in my house because let's just say I woke up at 4 a.m. this morning and didn't have heat. So yeah, I got a new heater.
What a bummer.
Yeah. Yes, the 5-year-old in the house was like, "Daddy, it's cold." I'm like, "You're telling me, kid." So there we go. So I spent all day doing that. But other than that, I am fantastic. Are you getting through your sickness?
Yeah, I'm about 85% of the way, I would like to say. I feel fine. I'm definitely like not in the, I'm tired, but I'm not in like the, oh man, I feel sick mode like
Yes.
that I would. But I am still just so like, bleh, everything's just hanging on. So I'm just like, all right, well, maybe I'll get better. But tomorrow is staff Christmas party.
Yes, it is.
So sorry, I can't get my words correct since I've been sick. Like literally, I've just been saying all sorts of words, which I get that wrong a lot on the podcast. I'm looking forward to someone like mashing up all of the crazy, ridiculous things that I say one day. Like,
Yes.
like, I don't know. I say some silly stuff. But because I'm always searching for a word and I never find it.
Yep.
And that's fine. That's just who I am. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the Christmas staff meeting tomorrow, and we're going to Top Golf.
Yes, we are.
And I've heard that's cool. I've never done it. Thought it was like putt-putt. Apparently not putt-putt.
You thought it was putt-putt. That makes my day.
It's just like driving. It's like a driving range.
Yes, it's like a really cool, like stacked up tiered driving range. Like there's floors, if you will. Think of it like that.
Is it indoor?
No, it's outdoors.
Why would we be indoors? Who thought that was a good idea? No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, I'm gonna participate. I actually took golfing in college.
Oh, really?
Yes, I did. I took a golf course.
Got it.
But I really did though. And all it was on driving. That doesn't mean that I'm gonna be amazing at it, but who knows what will happen. Hi, Bethany and Don.
Wow.
So.
Wow. Yes. So I'm excited about that. Well, hey guys, this week's episode is a little bit different. As you know, last week we did our Christmas episode, our Christmas wish list episode. And this week we're doing something slightly different. And the inspiration came from the fact that I do a annual review for myself every single year. I sit down and I review all of my goals, and I review a bunch of personality profile tests that I'll take just to get a better idea of like what worked in 2017 and what hopefully is going to work in 2018. I actually this year even had my staff fill out a survey on me, which they gladly did. They got a little too excited about filling out a survey. They got a little too excited about filling out a survey on me.
You know what? I think it's so healthy to do like reverse feedback.
Yeah.
That's a normal thing that a lot of larger corporations do, and I hate it when like smaller ones are like, we will never do that. We will never be that kind of thing. And I'm like, but sometimes there's like some helpful things that we can tell you that you never give us the opportunity to speak into. So
exactly. So there you go.
Props to my boss for doing that. I gave you all 5 stars. I bet you knew who that was. You got that one.
Yes. There we go. So what we're gonna do this episode is how do you get better at doing your job. And I don't mean that in the sense of how do you get better at social media, how do you get better at, say, building a website, because you know what, we got a lot of articles that we'll always talk about that, and that's gonna be the main focus of the show. But we want to help you get better at the stuff that honestly some of you may not like to do. I don't know who that is, but maybe you. And so stuff like, how do you become more self-aware? How do you get better at email? So we're going to be covering some of that stuff. We got 4 or 5 articles we want to share with you. We're going to walk you through, and as always, we'll share these in the show notes. If you're watching, we'll share these in the comment section for you to check out. So here we go. So let's start with the first one. The first one is, I'll jump into the first one, Katie.
Daryl's favorite thing.
The favorite thing in the world is how to manage email. So this article,
he loves this.
I love this.
He loves managing email. He's all about it.
I'm all about the email. Yes. Here's the deal: is this article walks you through what I think is really important stuff, is how do you manage email, manage it well. For some of y'all, for you, email may be the thing that you like absolutely purely hate, and if so, I completely understand. And for some of you, your email is your inbox in terms of your to-do list. Excuse me, that's what I would say. And it's your project management system is all inside your email. But let's talk about how we can do email better. First off, understand the psychology of email. Okay, one of the articles talks about is that it is when you get the email and when you answer the email, it's almost like a morphine hit, endorphin hit in terms of like, wow, you feel really good because you did something, you answered it back. But the flip side is that probably with every email you write back, you generate 2 or 3 more emails back to you. So this urge that you have to do email and do it quickly doesn't always necessarily make you more productive. Surprise, you would think it'd be the case. When you do email, make sure you're precise. And what I mean by that is when you write emails in such a way that maybe you would avoid actually getting emails back. In other words,
short and to the point,
but also if you got options, give people options. The first is, where do you guys want to go to lunch? Say, hey, do you guys want to go to lunch? And by the way, here's 4 options. Pick one and let me know. Again, that completely changes it. And number 3, make sure you've got the right tools. Okay. You can use Outlook if that's what your choice is. You can use the Apple Mail app, but there's a lot of other apps that if you use them right, they could actually save you a lot of headache. Like SaneBox will take care of a lot of your spam. You can use Batch Inbox. You can use, what's the one, the Boomerang? Katie, have you used Boomerang?
Yeah, Boomerang's not really a mailbox necessarily. It's more like just a tool to send emails later. Yep.
And I always think, and by the way, I have canned responses, especially for people who want to quote unquote help us with our SEO. I have canned responses for them already built in.
Nice.
Yep. And you know what?
What do you use? You use something else. You use like Airmail, don't you?
I use Airmail. Because Airmail is fantastic for the fact that I can send it over my to-do list manager.
Yeah.
I can fly through email pretty fast with it. I can, there's a whole lot I like about it. It just plays really well. It plays really well on the iPhone. I can get an email out to Bear, OneNote, Evernote. If I was using any of those tools, I can get it over to Things, which is right now my current to-do list manager, which Katie laughs at because I switch to-do list managers every week. Okay, I do.
At least you're getting things done. So
yes.
I guess, that's good. You're getting things done. And is one of your tasks like find a new to-do list?
I look at whatever's shiny. I'm not going to lie.
What else is good? Email.
Okay, this is the last. I'm going to point out the last one here. And I think
it's
super important. And this is something that honestly I struggle with. But you always have to remember and at least when you're trying to get better at email, to understand at the other end of the computer that you're sending that email to is a human being. And sometimes you have a tendency to be really formal or be very quick and to the point, which is efficiency is great if you want to be highly efficient, which I kind of sometimes worship at that altar. But understand that a little thing like an exclamation point, like a thanks, just something that makes the thing slightly more human could actually get the result you want out of the email. I have found that especially to be true
Daryl
for
has to
people
be
who
reminded to be him for sure.
I have to be reminded that one word emails are not emails sometimes, that I have to give more than I give 3 or 4 words.
I should put that in your review. Like Daryl, sometimes you just say, like what is it? Like EOM TTYL. I don't know. You're just like it's just a bunch of acronyms, and I'm like, what just happened?
She's making fun of the fact that what I do is sometimes in the subject line I put the entire email, which is, hey, don't forget I need that report today. Parentheses EOM, end of message. She doesn't have to open the email, folks. She looks at the subject line and goes,
no, that's great. I just think it's funny. Or like you'll say yes, and I'm like, I've asked you like 14 questions, and you're just like yes. I'm like,
just
okay,
all.
That's good too. That sounds great. So, yeah, I mean that's fine. I'll figure it out. I usually just come annoyed and get all my answers. So, it's great. It's a Southern way.
Yeah, there you go.
So, one low-hanging fruit of email subscriptions. So, say you got a lot of email subscriptions. You know, of course, there's unrolling and all that junk. But you know what's the best thing you can do? Literally just search in your inbox for the word unsubscribe.
Oh, gosh, yes.
Just search for that and then find all those emails that you're subscribed to and go through and unsubscribe from each one. It's so much fun.
It is. I will tell you, I've been super ruthless about that, to where the only thing that comes in my inbox that are newsletters are our newsletter from the Church Communications.
Number one email newsletter you can be.
The Hustle, which is a really good one.
Oh man, The Hustle's my favorite.
Creative Market, because sometimes they have some really good inspirational creative ideas.
That's true.
And one that I actually pay for is
you pay for a newsletter?
It's called Stratechery. And it comes every single day. And it's written by Ben Thompson, who's a former Microsoft and Google employee.
Cool.
No, he's Microsoft and Apple employee, and it is fantastic because he explains to you like why Amazon, why like stupid stuff like why YouTube is not on Amazon's new Fire, but he explains to you why, and if you can understand the mental models by which he's showing you, you can really apply them to your work. So anyway, long story short, but it's worth it. I love it. All right. You want to hit the next one?
Yeah, let me see what the next one is. If you're not spending 5 hours per week learning, you're being irresponsible.
Oh,
ouch.
Yeah.
You know what though? Like the best, the most successful people are the most learned people. I mean, obviously, I think you get what you give. You know, so like, this article is just talking about like. Why do the world's smartest and busiest people find 1 hour a day for deliberate learning, the 5-hour rule, while others make excuses? The answer is simple. Learning is the single best investment of our time that we can make, or as Benjamin Franklin said, an investment in knowledge pays the interest. So knowledge is the new money, which is so true. We've changed. History goes in circles. I mean, everybody knows. We went from medieval times of doing hard work to the Roman times where there were more thought creators, to back to kind of almost medieval times where we were having a lot of work, back to being thought creators. Again, like most of our work is thought. Like, I don't physically do anything all day, which sounds terrible. Like none of it's like there. It's all like up here. And so, if we spend our lives collecting all this knowledge, and we say we don't have the time to learn something new, then like, what are you doing? You're just like not doing anything. So, learning to do something new is takers. Yes, Dan, that's exactly what I said before. It's so fun. I was trying to say like thought tank or something before. This is a previous podcast, and it said think makers, and I think I'm just going to use it forever now. I'm just going to make a podcast called Think Makers.
Please do. Yeah, I think the funny thing is that one of the things that one of my mentors, and one of the things that I watched him do, and he was extremely successful in his work and still is to this day, is he always had a book in his hand. There wasn't a place where he didn't have a book in his hand where he wasn't reading, and he wasn't, he would, there's not a moment he wouldn't say, I was just reading the other day, and he would point out some book he was reading, some article he was reading, and he literally had a book with him 24/7. So I am used to being around people who do that, and I'm always suspicious of people who don't read a lot. I'm always like, what do you do with your time?
And I know people are like, I don't have time to read. You know what? You do have time to read. I can tell you when you have time to read, when you're on Facebook. And then I know that's funny and terrible to say because I'm like, you're all on Facebook right now. Just kidding. Like, I think that's totally fine. This is also an investment learning if you think about it. So that's fine. I'm not saying that you only can learn from books. But you know, when you're scrolling through Facebook and you're getting your oil changed, you know what you could be doing is reading an Amazon Kindle book on your iPhone. Like, it's just as accessible. We just don't think about it. We just think, oh, this is convenient. And so we think, oh, learning will happen later, and do it later. But really, you can do it right then. You just don't want to. It's more about the willpower.
Yeah,
and
and
a whole other subject.
And if you don't know what to read, a couple of places to do that is you can search the New York Times. The New York Times interviews really smart people and ask what books are they reading, or you can do what I do, which is I just search for Bill Gates reading list, and every year Bill Gates publishes his reading list, and I pick one or two books off of that reading list. The other thing you can do is actually, ironically, because of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg had last year, the year before, he did a year of reading, where every 2 weeks he read a new book, and he actually walks you through, and you can find that list, and there's some fantastic books on that list.
Yeah. He and two, like, okay, you're like, oh, well, I don't want to buy a book. Okay, your local library probably has not that you have to go to the library, because like going to the library for some reason feels like a chore to me. But I love the Overdrive app. So if your local library has access to ebooks through Overdrive, it is amazing. So you can just like click it, have it download to your Amazon Kindle, and you can use it on your iPhone or your iPad or your Kindle. And it's just so handy. They also have audiobooks. And of course, we talked about Scribd last week and how you can use that to read books. And there's just so much easy access to information. It seems like silly not to be doing that. So you need to, do that and convert your knowledge into money and results. Yep,
there you go. All right. The next thing we want to focus on is, how do you structure your day?
Hold on. What are you? Sorry. Let's answer Marcy's question.
What's your favorite book this year? Ooh, you want to go?
Of the year. No, I have to think. So you go.
That's pretty easy. It's Cal Newport's Deep Work.
Okay, you know what? Yeah, the one I'm actually reading right now is my favorite book, The Power of Habit.
Oh, okay.
Oh man, have you read it?
I think I'm reading the Blinkist version of it right now.
You want to read the real one. I read the Blinkist too. Go and read the real one. Yeah, it's on Scribd as well. But it's just, and you can get it from library. But like, it is so good. I mean, you're gonna love it. Like, if I love it, you're gonna really love it. And it's just talking about how, and like I said some willpower earlier, about how, like, in order to have willpower, you have to like force a habit, and to have a habit, you kind of have to have a small win to make that habit. Like you have to like continually like celebrate your ability to do something every day. And so, it starts with like a small thing, like to have good dental hygiene. Maybe you start by brushing your teeth twice a day instead of one day, and then you go to flossing, then you go to adding Listerine or whatever. I don't know. There's like how things build.
Yeah.
And so it's so interesting. So it's definitely my favorite book. My favorite book, otherwise, that was just like fun, was definitely Why Not Me by Mindy Kaling. So if you haven't read that, whether you're a girl or a guy, definitely listen to it. It's just super empowering, and she's funny, and it's great. So.
Yeah, I recommend it. I was looking over my bookshelf over here to see if there's any other ones. I definitely recommend Deep Work. Deep Work is going to challenge you because it's going to be contradictory to everything you're currently doing in your life. Cal Newport is a did I put it? Was that on our wish list?
It is.
Yeah. So real quick, if you listened last week, you heard me say this. He's a he's a computer science professor out of Georgetown University, and he's written a whole bunch of books on how to be really successful as a student. And this book breaks down why really great work is done by doing really deep work, and that is a lot of deep thinking and not shallow work. And that book is it's a punch in the face. We talked about, our team went through our book, and some people got angry as we were reading the book. Because
they were like, why are we not doing that?
Because it is a challenging book. So that's the one book this year that I really I think really resonated with me out of all the books I read. So there you go. All right. So we are going to jump on to our next topic. Our next topic is, so we've talked about so far about email. We talked about why you should be learning more. So get your email straight in 2018, learn more in 2018. Next one is, let's figure out how to better structure your day in 2018. Okay. Structuring your day is, if you talk about a habit you want to build, this is the habit I think you want to build. You do this habit and your whole game is changed. And the article you're referring to is one from QZ, and I'm actually going to walk you through some of the things that I actually, interestingly enough, kind of use some of these things. One is, when you approach your day using what is known as the Eisenhower matrix. It's a 2x2 matrix. And what it basically says is everything you do falls in one of four categories. Things that are really important and super urgent, things that are really important but not urgent, things that are not that important but urgent, and things that are not important at all and they're not urgent. So you could easily say, like, binge watching something on Netflix is probably not important and probably not urgent. Okay. However, don't tell my wife that, because we just started watching Stranger Things. Okay.
Oh my gosh, that's so important though.
It is important. I'm sure it's important for a lot of people.
It's important to culture, Daryl.
Exactly. But like the long-term stuff you really should be thinking about and doing, that typically falls into the stuff that is, say, your important but not urgent. Okay. It's the maintenance type of stuff you need to do with your work. So when you are thinking about planning your day out, ask yourself, or all the stuff you're asking yourself to do, what is that stuff actually really is the stuff that's really important and really urgent? Or what's the stuff that's important but not urgent? And if it doesn't fall in one of these two categories, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. So structure your day around a 2x2 matrix.
What is it that our Brian says? What is it he says? Like, do the thing of highest importance or something.
I don't know. I just asked myself, what would my executive pastor do? And I try to do that first.
Me too.
I did.
Me too.
Second thing is, block out time for what we call deep work, ironically based off the Cal Newport book. And that means is find some time with it. And I think what Cal said, actually, let's go back to his book a little bit. I think he's really only capable of like an hour and a half of deep work a day, like really hard thinking, and that everything else is shallow. But you need to do like 90 minutes of actually really deep thinking and work about the work that you do, which I actually can agree with. I think once you get beyond that, your brain kind of goes on the fry, gets you fried. Number 3, be careful about meetings. Understand that meetings can be also a time suck, but the reality of it is meetings, unless they're really structured well and they really have good action points, they probably are maybe not worth your time. I always say one of the things I think was most powerful was, again, watching somebody who I admire as a leader. What they would do is when they were done, when they were in a meeting and they didn't need to be in it anymore, their part was done. They would just get up and walk out. People were like, "Oh, I guess he's done." And he was done because he's like, "You don't need me anymore. I'm done." I know there's a little bit of FOMO. Ditch the FOMO. You're going to be more impactful.
I can't care. Like, that's the best part. That's something I think I've really gleaned from you is like, if you're like, I don't need to be in this meeting right now, or there's something that like you're at a conference even, and you're like, this is not worth my time. Like, your time is worth something. So like, if you feel like you're not learning from it, or you feel like you're not even like contributing, and you're like, why is the point? Why are you there? Then, I mean, I think it's okay for you to excuse yourself and say, I don't think I need to be, like, not in like a rude way, like find a way to say it like in a nice, considerate way, but just say, I don't think I don't think I need to be here. I don't know. Daryl usually gets me out of meetings.
I do.
A lot of times I'll text Daryl. I don't think I need to be here. And he'll be like,
you don't get out of here. Go.
Just say you have to go to the bathroom and leave.
Yep. Just say you got to go. Number 4, remember this. Remember, you are not managing time. You're managing your energy. And I've had to learn that the hard way. So what that means is figure out when your energy flows. In other words, when you're best at like just going hard at it. So for me, that's early in the morning. So I do all my big hard stuff in the morning. And then I kind of know in the afternoon, don't do anything that's going to require a lot of mental energy past, say, like 2 or 3, because you're just not going to get much out of me. So I try not to plan any brainstorms around that time. I try to do everything in the morning to manage my energy, manage it well. Yeah. And last but not least is if you've got a task list, if you got something, knock out the big stuff early. But let me tell you a pro tip in regards to doing that is plan this whole thing out the night before when you're clear-headed and you're not emotionally invested in those tasks, and then turn around and say, okay, you know what? I'm going to do that night, just do an index card, do the 5 things you want to get done, but put on the top of that list the one big hard thing you got to get done, and work really hard to knock that out first. So there you go.
There you go. There we have it. All right. So we are moving on. Next thing for 2018, you need to learn how to become more self-aware. Ooh, harsh. Ooh.
Yeah.
I was articles broken into headlines. Because I always hate like text, like a lot of text on a website. It makes me like want to print it off. I don't know. There's something about that makes it so much easier. So, all right. So it says, just to, ask people. So in order to become more self-aware, you really need to talk to others and ask them to speak into your life. And I mean, that's definitely an accountability thing. Because they said there was like a study and it said people mostly think that they're smarter than they really are, or they're more competent in an area than they really are, or they're more something than they. And I can see that to be true. I'm definitely more self-deprecating than I really like. Yeah. I'm always like, I always feel like I'm definitely the stupidest person in this room right now. But then Daryl has to remind me, no, you know what you're talking about.
No, you're not. You're fine.
Great, thank you. I'm terrible at things. Yeah, but I mean, I can definitely see sometimes where I'm like, oh yeah, I definitely know more about this than that person, and I'm like, oh yeah. No, I really don't.
Oh yeah.
It's definitely. Just like Daryl was talking earlier, where you got that, he emailed us out a self-evaluation. People do that, now even with friends, and, I do it with my blog audience as well. Like, what do you want from me? Yeah. I don't think that's terrible to ask people. I think, honestly, we need more feedback in our lives, and it's so hard to get that, without asking for it, because people aren't just going to offer it usually. Yeah. So if you can make a survey, like a Survey Monkey, I mean, it's even great to like send to your friends. Like
it is.
Just get some real honest feedback. Like, do you think I'm a good friend? Do you think I am a decent coworker? Do you expect more from me? Do you think I'm being lazy? Like, that to me, I think is worth its weight in gold, because I don't want people to think that of me, and if there's a way I can fix it or change it, that's exactly what I want to hear. But it's hard, it's hard to deliver constructive feedback. I always love to I tell my coworkers this all the time. I give compliment sandwiches.
Yes, you do.
I learned this at Center Kid, and I learned this from Jeremy Eccles. Shout out to JE. They taught us at Center Kid to say something that somebody's really good at, and then say this is something you can work at, but then this is something you're still really good at. Yeah. Because mostly I can find things that people are really good at, but on occasion I'm like, but if we did this in a different way, I bet you would love, you would love that. And so that's something I feel like I'm just really working on. So let's see. We're going to talk about being self-aware some more. Sorry, had to step away. I think he had a problem with with the baby. He needed to check on the baby. So let's talk about. We're going to actually go to the next one. I'm sure he probably would really love that. This is what I wish I knew at every age. Actually, you know what? I'm going to stop there. Does anybody have any questions? We have 19 viewers, so if you're just like hanging out and you have questions about anything, about what we talked about so far, or about even the group, or why my walls are painted yellow, you're more than welcome to ask. All right, so let's get back into the podcast. If you have a question, though, I'll see it and it'll pop up. So... all right, so this article, it says, what I wish I knew at every age. And we're just going to read through them. I wish I knew in my 20s to stop worrying about other people. And I feel like now as a 28-year-old, I feel like I have learned that so well. Like I literally don't care at all what it says. I don't know if y'all have read the book. Well, and that's not true about like up until last year, probably. The group is so funny. The group really grown me in a lot of ways. And I used to get, I mean, and I still do. I used to get messages literally like every other day with somebody who was just being hateful or something about something that was going on in the group, and I just had to learn to turn that around because it's just I don't know. It doesn't matter what they think. Anyway, so I'm catching Daryl up here. So I went on to the next article, What I Wish I Knew at My 20s. Or what I wish I knew at every age. And I was in the 20s. And the number one is to stop worrying about what other people think.
Yes.
And I was telling them about back in the early days of the group, I used to get a message the other day with hateful comments of people and what they thought about me and how I handled things in the group.
Oh, God.
And I think you remember that.
Oh, I remember
and
that.
how much I struggled with it. I mean, it would keep me up at night. I would cry. It was very like a rough start. But just because there was so much, there was so much like hatred at times people. And so just about like the way we were doing things and whatever, but God had really laid it on my heart that this was going to be bigger than it was. And so, after probably like 20 people had done this, I was like, you know what, Katie, you just need to stop worrying. Like you just need to stop caring. Like you just need what they think and remember what the Lord thinks about you and and why your actual friends and what they think, and that matters a lot more. And obviously to the top contributors and the people who are super active in our group who have been active from the start, like Jason, Croshaw, and Marcy, and so many others. Like that matters to me a lot more than some crazy person who's been there for like 2 months and thinks he knows whatever. So I love to call it. Daryl and I used to always joke about like managing people's feelings.
Yeah.
We're always managing someone's feelings.
I'm managing somebody's feelings. And that's why I feel like, yes, you're right. I think, by the way, I didn't realize how long this list was when I posted it. So obviously we're not going to cover. I think actually this is probably a couple of these are really good. And I think this one,
you can just skip around.
Yeah, I would tell you, stop worrying about what other people think is huge. For me, kind of having to come to grips with that. I think the other thing is that understanding that your career is never going to be linear. You don't consistently always go up. You will have moments when you go to the sideways or you go down and then you come back up. I've known people that have done that, and that's a little hard when you think everything's going to be nice and neat, especially if you want things to be organized. So I keep in mind with that. So we got a question here, which is a good question, Katie. How difficult is it to manage a wide variety of denominations within the group?
You know what? That's been the easiest part. We have literally not had to be like, oh, I hate these Episcopalians.
No, seriously.
Like no one has ever come to us and been like, man, I don't want, I don't like that this person is this. Like, I feel like we are so good at a united church front. Like, I feel like it's so nice to see like the church just being the church in our group.
That's always never. It's so funny how that's not the issue. I really honestly I sweated that for a while. I was like, oh no. And then it just wasn't the issue. So check that out.
It's been great. Like y'all have been phenomenal with that. So I mean, like it's been great. So.
I'll tell you one thing on here that's on this list that's really good that I think honestly I wish I knew on the front end before I've hit the edge that I'm currently at, is that I wish I understood that skills are more important than grades. And what I mean by that is that I wish I spent majority of my time not striving for perfection of getting an A, but striving to at least to learn the material. Be more obsessed with learning the material than the grade that comes with getting the material. And I mean, obviously you don't get grades in your job other than performance reviews, but I wish I was a little more obsessed with learning the skills and perfecting it, because when you do that, then you're more okay with failure on the front end of a new task.
Yeah.
Because if you're okay with that failure on the front end, it's the old bad pancake theory.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the first pancake when you make pancakes is what? It's horrific because you don't know how hot the oven is. But the third, fourth, and fifth are fantastic, but you gotta be willing to make that first really bad one.
Mm-hmm. I'm a professor. So I teach consumer and audience behavior right now. I've taught web design and social media in the past, and I teach for University of Florida. And I love grades. I think that they're important personally, but then but at the same time, like I would rather a student be able to explain a concept than take a multiple choice test and make a good grade. I think that's the problem with a lot of our education is multiple choice tests. That sounds terrible. I loved multiple choice tests as a student, but I know that a multiple choice test just test what I memorized and not what I learned necessarily. There's a difference between memorization and learning a lot of times.
Yep.
And yeah, as you can see, it's just that, obviously grading an essay is a lot harder and more time consuming. And so, I feel like there has to be some point where we change the way we educate. And that's, a bigger, broader subject.
Yes.
But, and I had 4.0s in college and in graduate school. And I just, and it didn't take me any different places. If you didn't know that probably, and you would have still hired me regardless. If I had a 2.7, you would have not cared. So
we wouldn't have.
But I wouldn't have probably been the same person that you would have got. So
that's true. That is very, very true. And let's end with this last one, which I think is kind of important because I think it's one of the things that we often neglect, and that is, and I will tell you, this hit me closer to my in the last 5 years, and that is learning to take care of yourself. And I mean, I think we always hear about taking care of yourself spiritually. You hear a lot about that, spiritual care, etc., like that. Hopefully you do. If you don't, you should be doing that. But I also think your mental and your physical health often can become neglected, especially your physical health, because you're thinking you're young, you're indispensable, especially if you're in your 20s. And then you don't really realize you're mid to late 30s that you kind of go, whoa, I really have to take care of myself if I want to do this, whatever I'm doing, for the long haul. And so I think for a lot of us, it's something simple as sleep, your diet, all those type of things. I'm not going to get on a soapbox on that kind of stuff. I could do that, but I'm not going to. But I am going to tell you that one of the things I think as church communicators, we have a tendency to neglect those things because we almost to a certain degree idolize hustling and idolize kind of overworking ourselves. We kind of like wear this badge of honor. Like how much time did you spend on prepping for Christmas or Easter, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I'm not about that life.
Yeah.
I'm about hard work and getting things done. Yeah. But I'm also like, at the end of the day, I have a normal day, go, and it's not like I have this perfect work-life balance or anything, but I have stuff to do that's outside of work, and, it needs to end at some point, and I think it's okay to take some time. I'm not in my 30s yet, so I know that's like I shouldn't even in my 30s, so maybe I'm learning a little bit earlier. I don't know. But yeah, I'm still working on that. True. Too.
All right. So, Katie, that closes this episode about getting better at work in 2018. Do you have a shout out for anybody? Or you have any shout outs?
I thought I did.
You did. You got one on there.
Join our email list. If you're not on it, go to churchcommunications.com and join the email list. There. It's at the bottom of the page, or you can join it by digest with an S at the end, .churchcommunications.com. Soon we're going to be sending out some cool information. So,
oh gosh, yes, we are.
We
will tell you this, folks. I'm going to tease this. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I'm going to tease it. First week in January, we've got the biggest news we've ever dropped. That's
ever dropped. We're probably going to send it in the email list first because we think that they care more about us than regular people.
We will send it out in the email list first. It'll be the first week of January. It's the biggest thing we've ever done. I can't tell you more than that, other than Katie and I have been thinking about this for a long time, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Yeah, so join that email list. All right.
Go. That's it. All right, folks. You guys have a great week, and we will talk to you soon. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.